Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Welcome to Overtime. This is Maricel Castillo Rivera, and it's an exciting Monday for Overtime. But let me welcome first Attorney Oscar Oca Moreno. Sir, maayong hapon.
Hi, Sel. May hapon. Good afternoon. And good afternoon, everyone. And welcome once again to our Monday episode of Overtime. This is a daily program at about 1:30 in the afternoon for an hour. And in most cases, with overtime. And this afternoon, we have a very special guest, and he'll be introduced more properly by Maricel, no? But to give you an idea about what we will be talking about, marami Sel, no? First is he comes from a family of journalists, no? And or put it more specifically, ang kanyang ama was an institution in journalism for decades, no? Ako, I saw that when I was a member of Congress in 1998 for 6 years, and very, very popular. Virtually the whole country would tune in to the radio station of his father. But he pursued his own path and went into investigative journalism, and wow, multi-awarded sa Sel, no? And in fact, he has done very, very well, and pursuing what he had decided to focus on. Ang aton journey is about journalism. And, with all this social media and so on, ang question siguro is, ang journalism ba, what role does it have in our society? Now, Sel, please do the honor of introducing our very special guest.
Yes, thank you, Attorney. And our guest this afternoon is a prominent Filipino journalist and former television news reporter, and holds a broadcasting degree from Centro Escolar University. He's born into a family deeply rooted into journalism, where he is the eldest of the 4 children of the veteran journalist Jay Taruc. He's married to June, a dentist, and they have a son, Luis, and a daughter named Sofia Gabriela, and they live in Quezon City. In 1994, he worked as a researcher and production assistant for Brigada Siyete, an investigative TV show in GMA Network. He made his first news report on a rupture of Mount Parker's crater in South Cotabato that brought flood in the surrounding community. He received several awards for the documentaries he made for the show, including the 1998 CNN World Report Award category. Ongoing Story for Comfort Women in 1999, together with Jessica Soho's Kidneys for Sale, and Kamao, his documentary entitled Mga Batang Alipin, an exploration into the country's child labor through the coverage of forced detention and rescue of child workers in a fish sauce factory. He won the George Foster Peabody Award, the first for the country and the GMA Network. Mga Batang Alipin was also a finalist in the New York TV and Film Festival's UNICEF Special Award in that same year, and in 2000, it won the award for investigative journalism. He joined the team of Sandra Aguinaldo, Cara David, and Howie Soberino that produced I-Witness, a documentary TV show, in 2000. The Philippine Army's clearing operation of landmines left by Muslim extremists in Mindanao was his first documentary that was broadcast in the program. In 2004, his work entitled Batang CP was a finalist in that year's Abu Kasbaa UNICEF Children's Rights Award. It discussed the plight of children with cerebral palsy and co-hosted by Peter Jonas, cerebral palsy patient who graduated with honors at the UP. And on the same year, another one of his documentaries named Basurero that depicted extreme urban poverty was the finalist in the New York and Shanghai TV and Film Festival. He received the UNICEF Child Rights Award at the 45th Asia Pacific Broadcasting Union General Assembly in Indonesia in 2008 for the I-Witness episode Batang Kalabaw. child beast of burden that he produced. The documentary, which also earned the program the CMMA Best Documentary Show in 2009, focused on the story of a teenage girl named Sherilyn, the breadwinner of a family of 5 children and absent parents who traded blogs by carrying them in the Agusan del Sur Mountains. In 2022, he won the Silver World Medal for Documentary at the New York Festivals for the episode Lapnos, which covered stories of patients at Mindanao Burn Center. 2 years later, his documentary called Tarima, that was about the indigenous people of Davao del Norte, Mindanao, won the 2014 Dawat Agok Award. And currently, his passion for motorcycles started in 2000, and he preferred them as a means of transport. He was also a member of a riders club that traveled around Visayas and Mindanao. And by July in 2011, he hosted the Motorcycle Diaries, a television documentary show on GMA News TV. The show's title was inspired by a film of the same title that chronicled Che Guevara's travel around South America on a bike. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our guest this afternoon, Jay Taruc. Sir, maayong hapon. Welcome to Overtime.
Maayong hapon. Thanks for that introduction, Ms. Ma'am Maricel and Attorney Oscar. Maraming salamat. I'm happy to be here, and of course, it's an honor for me.
Yeah, kami actually, Jay, ang nagpapasalamat sa iyo, no? Alam namin na your schedule is tight, and of course you have many engagements. Kami po ay nagpapasalamat, no? You have decided to spare time with us, no? Now, wow, let's get the ball rolling. Ang tanong siguro is, of course, your father was an institution in broadcast, no? Nabanggit ko kanina, the whole country was glued to Jay Taruc in the 90s. Yeah, ano na yan? May coverage na yan sa probinsya, Jay. DZRH was being aired nationwide, no? Kaya yung mga pag-anchor ni Jay Taruc was very much appreciated. And then yung mga demonstrations noon, yung mga 80s, Jay Taruc was already... everybody was tuned in kay Jay Taruc. And talagang presko pa rin. Now, I'm sure your dad had influenced your life, no? And in fact, ang ano ko is kung hindi journalist si Jay Taruc, ano kaya ang kanyang career ngayon?
Nako. I was asked once, attorney, no, ano yung iba mo pang hilig, and what would you want to pursue kung hindi ka nalinis sa journalism? I think my answer was I wanted to be a rock star. I was very much into music way back then, and I was even part of a band during my high school days. May banda po kami, so I would play the keyboard. I was the keyboard player. But filmmaking was something of a passion for me. I wanted to make films way back then. Dati gusto kong gumawa ng pelikula. And I also found that broadcasting and documentary filmmaking is very, very similar to what I wanted before. So dito ko nakita yung connection. So I wanted to talk to people. I wanted to tell stories.
Yeah.
So I found that documentary producing, documentary filmmaking was the one for me. So sabi ko, sakto. It's a perfect mold. And nagkataon siguro, attorney. Nagkataon.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then ang dami mong mga trabaho, Jay, na that have been recognized internationally, no? Ang galing. Ano, yung mga investigative journalism
Yeah.
mo, documentary. Biro
Yes.
mo, ang daming mga, ito yung mga special concerns, no? You have, it seems to me na you have a very keen eye on issues na napaka-importante which people may tend to forget or set aside as unimportant, no? Pero dahil sa mga documentaries mo, nabibigyan ng focus, nabibigyan ng atensyon, Jay.
I was also fortunate siguro, attorney, Ma'am Maricel, na I was able to work early on with very, very talented people. To name a few, no, Miss Jessica Soho was one of
Yeah,
my mentors when I was starting out in journalism. Baka hindi kilala ng maraming tao, pero Miss Marisa Flores, an executive, medyo retired na po siya sa GMA, but when I was starting out, ito yung mga mentors ko, si Ma'am Marisa, Ma'am Jessica, of course, yung mga, ayan, sina Karen Davila, I was able to work with them, Mr. Arnold Clavio, and yan, Cara David, Howie Severino, mga matcha-challenge ka rin if you're working with these people and you
yeah,
learn, I've learned a lot of things from these people. And natcha-challenge ka mag-isip ng mga bagong ways to present your report and the way you interview, the way you extract the information from your subjects, from your case studies, and the different perspectives also, attorney, napakahalaga kasi you are being exposed to different perspectives. So early on, I was immersed in that type of environment. No? Luma pa ang newsroom, no? Naalala ko, maliit pa lang kami. Kalaki, gaya ngayon. And nung time din na yun, if I may say, attorney, if I may tell you the story, it was a period in broadcasting that we were given the license to experiment. No? Marami po kaming ginawang mga bago noon eh. Yung ginagawa natin na selfie-selfie, yung
yeah,
Yeah.
we were doing that and
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
So just an example of, pushing the envelope, so to speak. Marami
yeah,
kaming, napilitan kami mag-isip ng ways on how to present our report in a different
yeah,
way. So I guess yun yung medyo nagkaroon na-challenge kami to present it in a fresher, in a newer way,
yeah,
para maging interesting ba? Kasi if you're going to present it in in the typical
yeah,
narrative,
yeah.
parang bombarded ka with so many information, baka hindi lumabas yung essential, yung important, yung message, di ba? For
Yes.
example, you're doing a story about child labor. Kung ibobombard kita ng mga information and statistics in a straightforward manner na hindi interesting, baka antukin ka, baka makatulog ka. So we were always in that mode. And talagang we were very aggressive. I was very young then. That was like 30 years ago. We were very aggressive. We were pursuing like ano yung dapat nating ipaalam sa madla? What can we tell them? How can we emphasize the important and not just the popular?
Yeah. Na ano ko nga, Jay, one of your documentaries had to do with a volcano, no? Ang nabasa ko, pumunta ka sa crater. Pumunta sa crater or close to it. medyo unthinkable yan, ha? Dahil alam natin medyo delikado yung area na yan. But you did that.
This is a memorable story for me, attorney. No?
Uh,
I think this was at the time that I was a reporter then, and I was given a break to cover an explosion of Mount Parker in South Cotabato. So we were sent there. We were deployed. I was doing research work at the same time covering the story for GMA, for a specific show, Brigada Siyete. And my boss, sabi niya, oh, hindi pa ako reporter noon. Ang sabi sa akin, go there, cover, and ikaw nang gumawa niyan. Ikaw na ang mag-report niyan. So it was my first major assignment. And it was a big break for me kasi napakita ko na, uy, pwede pala ako maging reporter, kaya pala ni Jay. So we stayed there in the area, no, sa paanan ng Mount Parker. Kasi nung time na yon, attorney, nagkaroon ng flash floods. Kasi pagka nagluluwa ng lava yung bundok, no, yung Mount Parker, nababarhan yung mga arteries, yung daanan ng tubig. So bumigay yung isang artery, tapos big volume of water, no, na flush out yung mga tao. May mga nasawi po doon when that happened. So we stayed there for 4 days covering the story, and then we tried to climb up, no, nearer the crater of Mount Parker. I was just with the cameraman. Natulog kami kasi 4 days. Wala kaming baon masyadong damit. So we stayed in an abandoned elementary school. So doon po kami natulog sa mga teacher's table yata, pinagdikit-dikit namin. And we were able to produce a story naman na, alam mo naman noong time nun, wala pang mga internet and cellphone, di ba? We had to physically go there, shoot, and then go back and edit at least, write it, and then report. Ganun po kahirap yung process, no? So this was way back in the 90s.
I'm sure.
So
I'm sure.
What I'm trying to say is, given this example, parang a story like this, no, a story after story, and then the experiences will hone someone to become what they are now, no. Yung mga experiences nila nag-add up, and then yun na yung nagiging, kumbaga ganun ka na mold siguro early on, no, sa career mo. Yun yung training mo, kumbaga.
Yeah. I'm sure ang dad mo rin bibigay din sa'yo ng tip, what to do, what to say, how to say it.
If my dad was alive now, pag sinabi ko itong sasabihin ko sa inyo, baka magalit yun. But he actually discouraged me to enter the field of journalism.
Oh, bakit po?
I think he was testing me kung gaano ka determined in decidido ka ba talaga, mahirap to. Sabi niya, maliit lang ang kita. Sabi niya, maraming days na hindi mo makakasama pamilya mo. So many sacrifices, which is true. Napatunayan ko naman, no? Maraming sakripisyo, hindi madali. Oftentimes, bitin ka sa tulog, wala ka masyadong pahinga. It will take, yung patience mo kailangan mahaba. Andyan yung politics, of course, within the working environment, which is also normal, no? So he would discourage me in entering the field of journalism, but nag-apply ako sa GMA without him knowing it. So kumbaga nag-under the table ako, kumbaga nag-backdoor ako, hindi ako nagpaalam sa kanya. But nung nakikita niya na I was part of the news team, I was part of the GMA News and Public Affairs team, I guess nakikita naman niya na yung perseverance ko na gustong-gusto ko talaga itong ginagawa ko. And then hinayaan na lang niya ako. The tips came after. Siguro matagal na yun. Matagal na ako nasa media, and then he would call me up, and then he would random tips like parang kulang yung interview mo, parang kulang yung mga tanong mo, dapat ganito, ganyan. And since mas senior siya sa akin, so I would take it as, constructive naman. And he's a very charismatic and inspiring figure. Of course, tatay ko siya, medyo sumasama loob ko pag hindi niya ako nare-recognize. But it also helps you improve it. And before, I would actually, I hate, being in the shadows of my father. Talagang inis na inis ako. Minsan tinatawag akong Joe eh. Kayo ho pala si Joe, yung nasa radyo. Ay, hindi ho, ako ho yung nasa TV. So, look, when I was starting out, it was a struggle, but I took it all as a challenge, and it inspired me to push it, to push harder. Ayun. Matulungin ang daddy sa hindi madamot sa sa payo and tips.
Yeah. Sir, how do you plan for one investigative story? Paano ang preparasyon po doon?
Okay, if for example, isa-isahin natin. Etong mga shows ko, for example, if you're familiar with Brigada Siyete in the 90s, and then after Brigada Siyete, naging part din ako ng I-Witness. Parang pareho naman po eh. They would, we have a team, no? I work with a team. It's a collaborative effort always. It's a team actually. So we have researchers, we have cameramen, we have producers, no? Each week ang gagawin namin mag-round table kami, mag-meeting kami. Ang tawag namin, nagbe-brainstorm kami. Ano bang magandang, kasi it's a weekly show eh. What can we do for our next show? So magbabatuhan ng mga ideas yan. But what usually works, ang napansin ko is kung ano yung, ako yung reporter kasi, ako yung nasa on-cam, kung ano yung naiisip ko na gustong gawin. Ano yung gusto kong gawin? What I feel mostly about. For example, na-come across ako, for example, ng isang story about comfort women in Pampanga. And kumbaga, we take it from there. And then we work, we collaborate with our researchers to do an initial research on the area, on the stories, conduct initial interviews, and then we sit down again and then plan for our coverage before we go. So ganun po yung proseso. We list down topics, and then ano yung mas feasible na pwede natin gawin. At may timing din po eh. Is it the right timing to do this story for this month or next month or end of the year? Minsan long-term po yung planning na nangyayari, but ayun, it takes, each story takes a lot of planning and meeting before we go out and shoot. Sometimes you have a lot of time, sometimes may period lang, may window lang where you can do the whole coverage.
Pinaplano nyo rin po ba na anong awards dapat ang makukuha after that?
Maricel, wala. Hindi namin po iniisip na, ito, kailangan manalo tayo ng ganitong award this year. Wala po yun eh. Especially, during the 90s, we were competitive, no? Don't get us wrong, talagang competitive kami. Minsan, kasi we're divided into different teams eh. Both in Brigada Siyete and I-Witness, no? Pagandahan kami ng story dyan. In fact, ang pinakamagandang compliment ka, yung magagaling dun sa colleague mo, no? within the network. But anyway, the recognition, I'm sure you're familiar with the quality naman of the stories that we put out. No? Pinaghihirapan naman din po, and natutuwa kami, and it inspires us to do more meaningful and great stories for our shows, for our respective shows. Pagka nakakatanggap kami ng mga ganitong pagkilala, no? The recognition comes after. Ang kailangan mag-focus dun sa output.
Yeah.
Tsaka yung social message nila.
Yes.
Malakas ang social message, no? Yung sa children. Lakas ang social message.
Kayo talagang pumipili ng kwento, sir? Ng story,
Ma'am Maricel, tulong-tulong po. Sometimes the stories, some of the stories comes from the host. Sometimes, minsan, may cameraman po kami, may na-come across siya na parang lead. Uy, pwede natin gawa ng storya to. Sometimes naman, yung researcher namin, nagbabangko na siya ng mga stories. These are potential stories na pwede namin i-pursue. You mentioned kanina sa introduction nyo, Ma'am Maris, yung fish sauce factory, yung paggawaan ng suka at patis. I perfectly remember that. Oo, sa Nueva Ecija po ito eh. And sometimes the stories, you have to go to the, hindi naman siya openly minsan, makikita mo na agad yung storya. Minsan, kailangan magtanong-tanong ka muna. Kailangan kasi dun sa factory na yon, in-expose po namin yun eh. The children were working inside that factory, and parang they were contained in a prison-like, matataas yung walls, may barbed wire, hindi sila makalabas. So nagkataon lang may nakalabas na bata na nagtatrabaho doon. So yun, nakapagsumbong sa isang residente, and then that resident informed us, and then it was a tip. No, this is something that you can't plan. So when it happened, we just pursued and covered and coordinated with the proper agencies. So it just kind of happened. Sometimes yung matatagal ng reklamo na meron pong for example in Davao, no? Dun sa rural part, it's still part of Davao City, but medyo 30 to 40 minutes away to. There's kulang ng bridge, no? A simple footbridge going to the school. Isolate siya dahil merong river, no? Dividing the mainland from that small island. Yun, reklamo lang, sumulat lang sa amin, someone from Davao. And then we did our, due diligence na pinuntahan ng researcher namin, nagtanong-tanong, and nakita niya kung gaano kahirap yung buhay doon ng mga tao. So, mga ganun klase.
Yeah.
We go at, great lengths in finding these stories kasi we felt that these stories will not come out kung hindi mabibigyan ng ganito.
May storya po ba, sir, that you became so emotionally attached talaga sa coverage ninyo?
Ayun, speaking of emotionally attached, Ma'am Maricel, yung na-rescue po kasi namin yung mga bata dun sa paggawaan ng patis at suka dito sa Nueva Ecija. Sobrang, when you see them na, sir, iligtas nyo kami, nagmamakaawa sila, and then you would see their, yung skin nila talagang from the acid, talagang lalapos na sila. I mean, you're only human. Talagang minsan talagang, may mga times, sumiiyak ka talaga. Naiiyak ka talaga dun sa sitwasyon. Naawa ka, and then, that pushes you to, kailangan mai-report ko ng tama to para maraming tao ang makaalam. ito yung madalas itanong sa akin yung, kasi I did a story on, it's called Basurero. Yung mga kumakain ng tira-tira sa garbage. So, so we documented this family would gather the leftovers from, for example, isang establishment, may mga tira-tira sila, kinukuha nila yun, tapos, and then recook, no? Lalagyan ng suka, and then they cook it again and then eat. Because they can't afford a proper meal. Ang gagawin nila, namumulot sila sa basura and they would eat it, no? And then one family member offered me if I wanted to eat, I wanted to taste. So, tinikman ko. In-offer sa'yo, di ba? I mean, tayo, pag bisita kami, we're considered as visitors. So, when you're offered something, anong gagawin mo? Mag-ano ka ba? Mag-report ka ba? So, tinikman ko lang. I didn't have to finish the food, but I have to taste. And then, tinatanong sa akin ng mga tao, yung mga nakapanood, anong lasa ng basura? Anong lasa ng... So, anong lasa ng... So, may ganong stories na sometimes, well, it's forever embedded na sa'yo, ingrained na sa'yo na, you know, the lessons that you learn from these experiences, it's really unique and special.
Yeah.
Yun.
Malaking tulong din sa ano mo, yung sa documentary work mo, yung motorcycle diaries mo, which is a separate program, no? Dahil
Yes, sir.
itong motorcycle diaries, you're bound to go to places all over the country. So marami kayong naririnig din ng mga istorya, mga kwento na humanly intriguing,
yes, sir.
no? So, sabay
speaking of that particular show, Sir, Motorcycle Diaries, I was just invited. It's a show that was conceptualized by a manager from GMA. And then they invited me kasi alam nila, ako yung rider, ako yung journalist na nagmumotor. Mahilig ako magmotor. So they crafted a show, no, na mag-fit sa akin. So I would go around the country, different places, minsan remote areas, na nararating ng motor. Kasi what's unique about motorcycle is na napupuntahan niya yung kahit tatawid ka ng sapa, di ba? Pupunta ka ng bundok kahit walang proper na, you know, concrete roads, no? And then I would seek the stories, no, using my motorcycle as a vehicle to get the stories and then report, no? It's sort of an immersive, it's like a travel documentary. Nung time din, wala namang mga ganong genre sa TV shows, but we started that, that type of, you know, magpapasyal ka. Sometimes, hindi naman mga nakalulungkot na experience. Sometimes, we highlight the best of what the province can offer. For example, anong masarap sa Cagayan de Oro, di ba? Anong masarap sa Cebu? Ano ang number one tourism attraction ng Kidapawan? Ilocos, anong food trip, anong masarap na pagkain. So, in a way, we were promoting tourism, no? Through motorcycle.
Yeah.
So, medyo, ganun siya naiiba sa I-Witness naman. And, Brigada Siyete.
Yeah. Ang ano din, ang unique itong motorcycle diaries dahil you have virtually gone all over the country, no?
Yes,
and
yes.
no, you have seen it all, no? Pati yung mga, I don't know, baka Panay, nakapunta ka na rin doon.
Yes.
Wow.
Almost, Attorney, as far as Batanes, we were able to ride the motorcycle in Batanes. As far as in Mindanao, of course, medyo kilala na yung Davao, Jensen. As siguro, I think Maguindanao, we were able to visit Maguindanao also on a motorcycle. Marami kaming napuntahan with that show. And even outside the country, attorney, ha?
Wow.
In every anniversary, ang ginagawa namin, we go out. May one time, nag-travel kami from Malaysia to Indonesia on a motorcycle. Oo.
Ang galing.
And then the following year, anniversary ulit namin, India naman. We rode our motorcycle around India. Tapos nakapag-Europe din kami, attorney.
Ang galing.
Travel kami from Austria, Italy, and Germany. So,
ang galing.
Ako parang sa akin, I do this not just to show the different places na masarap puntahan, but I'm also an advocate of motorcycle.
Yeah.
I strongly feel that the Philippines is not, we are the only country, yung mga neighboring countries natin, saturated na siya ng motor. If you go to Vietnam, Thailand, Malaysia, ang daming motor dyan, attorney. Ma'am Maricel, it's very common. Masikip na dahil sa mga motorsiklo. Tayo po, mas maraming kotse pa rin. If you go to Metro Manila, it's the big cars. You'd see the big cars. You see the four-wheeled vehicles na parang iniisip ko, hindi naman bagay. For example, if you're talking about Metro Manila, ang liit ng kaya dito. But I think we're getting there. Dumadami na rin po ang motorsiklo. In the provinces, very common ang motor. Ang mga single, di ba? Single na motor. Maraming motor Maraming motor. I think lahat ng bahay may motorsiklo sa probinsya But,
that's true. That's true.
So the traffic now, which is a perennial problem dito sa Metro Manila. I ride every day, attorney.
Ganun ba?
I ride my motorcycle every day because of the traffic. Traffic here is so very bad, very bad.
Yeah.
Pero sabi nila, sir.
Yeah, sige, sir. Go ahead.
Sabi kasi nila, pag ang iba naman kasi, they don't like the motorcycles kasi unsafe nga daw for traveling. Your thoughts on that, sir?
Well, sa akin, if you ride your motorcycle properly and you take good care of your transportation, siguro may iwasan naman. Kahit naman nakakotse tayo or naka-van or naka-SUV, if we drive it like wala tayong pakialam sa fellow motorists, ma-aksidente ka, magkaka-aberya. Let's talk about the problem here in Metro Manila. The traffic is so congested because of the volume. Minsan wala nang rush hour dito. Halos buong araw masikip po ang traffic.
Araw rush hour.
I'll give you an example. My house in Quezon City, Marikina area, from my house going to the office, it takes me about an hour if I bring my car. Pero kung scooter or motorcycle, i-cut mo in half yan. What does it do? It saves me time, which is also valuable. It saves me gas, and I can be more productive. So yun yung tatlong rationale for me. Bakit ako nagmumotor every day? I can do more with motorcycle. Ngayon yung sinasabi nilang delikado, totoo. It's two wheels. You're not protected by a metal cage, no? So what do? You protect yourself by wearing the proper helmet, the proper riding gear. You drive responsibly. You ride your motorcycle responsibly. Kung lahat ng motorsiklo ganon, mas pleasant ang natin, ang magiging experience. And with the traffic, you can't even ride as fast as you wanted to. Kasi hindi ka pwedeng hindi ka pwedeng magbabilis, masikip Yun nga yung kailangan disiplina and responsibility kailangan.
Itong motorsiklo, Jay, siguro mga 10, 15, 20 years ago, naririnig ko maraming mga siguro isa na dyan yung grupo nyo. Or baka magkakilala kayo na yung mga anak mayaman dyan sa Manila. They would go to provinces, pero sa kanila parang adventure, nakamotor.
Opo.
Yan yung kalakasan mga 20 years ago pala, ito may recollection, no? Pero ang style nila, merong advance party na naka complete gear, sasakyan, no?
Baka yung mga things nila nandun, mga ano nila, sa vehicle.
Palagi ko kasama kayo noon, barkada nyo, kayo mga kagrupo noon.
Tama ka, attorney. Adventure riding now has become a very popular type of riding in the Philippines. So, anong reason po dyan? Number one, all the brands. You have more options for motorcycle. Halos lahat na ng motorcycle brand ay nandito na sa Philippines. And the different types of motorcycles for adventure, for traveling, for short riding, for city riding, name it, marami na tayong options, marami nang available. What a great way to promote motorcycle tourism, no? Kasi kung mag-gather mo lahat itong mga grupong to, and then they would travel, no, from Metro Manila outside the provinces, ma-highlight yung magagandang spots and all. It would be also good. No, may impact po yan sa ating economy. I mean, through tourism, di ba? These riders will stay in the hotels. They would gas up. So, ano siya, economic booster din, attorney. So, this is one thing that we also promote sa aming show. So, the show that we produce, no, yung Ride PH. This is our own contribution naman sa bansa natin, diba?
Kahit dito sa Misamis Oriental, Jay, merong daan na highway ito pero parang diversion. Yung Hingoog, Claveria, Villanueva Road, no? Ngayon, fully operational na siya, pero alam mo, kahit ordinaryong araw, no? More so sa weekends. Maraming mga grupo dyan na in groups of 7, 10, some cases 15, mga motorcycle riders, no? And then, of course, meron silang na-identify na doon sila mag-i-stop. So, napopromote yung daan, yung lugar, no? And
that's also good. For example,
ganda tingnan eh. Kumpleto rin sila ng mga gears, helmet and all that. Pero mga local ito, Jay, local.
Marami. I know for a fact na in Cagayan de Oro, may mga clubs dyan, motorcycle clubs. And attorney, once a year, there's a big motorcycle convention that's being mounted, no, every year. Sometimes in Luzon, sometimes in Visayas, sometimes in Mindanao. So nakikita-kita rin yan dun sa convention na yun. All the motorcycle clubs, that's part of that. There's a big federation eh. May federation po ng mga motorcycle clubs eh. So I'm pretty sure itong grupong to, 7 to 10, baka part sila ng isang club, and then they also go to that convention. By the way, malapit na po yan. This coming summer is riding season eh. So you get to see our friends from Apari, from the different provinces and regions. Nag-gather po kami dyan. Thousands go there.
Ang galing. Basa ko yung mga motor ni Jay.
Mga ano yan.
Mga ano yan.
Mamahalin.
Makahawak man lang, hindi ako nakahawak.
Mga mamahalin eh. Ayan. Expensive.
Pero ano yan, mga collector's items yan, Sel. Mga limited edition pa yata yan, Jay.
I've been riding attorney for probably almost 30 years. So marami na po tayong scooter and motorcycles na nasubukan. But
Yeah,
I'm a scooterista. I'm a scooter rider at
yeah.
heart. I like riding small motorcycles.
Na ano ko nga, I watched one of the programs you hosted. Andun yung mga collection ng mga motorsiklo, no? And wow, uh, ano, one of a kind yung mga ano,
Mga
mga
luma.
collectors. Oh,
Yeah.
Oo.
So, yeah. Yung sa mga stories po doon sa mga yung mga documentaries niyo po. I understand this are some of them are funded by grants, yung mga ganon. I don't know how do kasi ang challenge, I think that's one of the challenges now in investigative journalism. Like dito po sa atin sa provincial media outlets, ang hirap mahirap gumawa ng documentary because of the funding support from local media outlets, and it's just fortunate for those in the in the bigger networks kasi may funding for that. Paano po natin mapapalawak yung investigative journalism pag gano'n ang challenge?
For my part, Ma'am Maricel, I think, I guess, like what you mentioned, fortunate po ako na I belong to a bigger network, na the network funds for our documentaries. As you and I know, hindi po mura mag-produce ng mga ganitong class ng ng mga documentaries. And minsan, kung may backing ka ng mas malaking company, mas madali mong magagawa yung mga documentaries mo. But as I understand right now, may mga institutions po, not just locally, pero like yung international, na pwede kang sumulat at mag-propose ng iyong project. And then what they do is they study your proposal and then they give you money. You will be funded by this particular foundation, international, merong environmental, merong may humanitarian, mga human rights groups na pwedeng mag-fund ng yung project na you can do it independently. You can do it independently para maganda yung yung production mo. But during swerte kami. We were blessed with we were backed by a big network. In the provinces, kasi ngayon with the social media, ma'am, I think mas madali nang mag-reach out Madali ka nang mapansin ng iba't ibang institutions. I think even the embassies, if you go to di ko naman but what the others do, they shop around. May mga programs kasi yung iba't ibang embassies that they offer funding depende dun sa kung magugustuhan nila yung project na i-present mo. So, ayun, yun ang medyo naging nagle-level ngayon dun sa mga backed by big networks. Pwede kang lumapit ngayon sa mga independent sources.
May tanong ako, Jay, and itong Galing Pook awards natin, this started in the early 90s after the passage of the local government code, precisely the award was meant to showcase best practices of LGUs, probinsya, siyudad, munisipyo, even barangays, I don't know kung dahil ang daming every year, Jay, maraming mga awardees, Talagang kaganda ng mga programs, pero these programs are presented by way of slides, mga ganon. Pero it just occurred to me doon sa pag-usapan ninyong documentaries, it just occurred to me, what if yung grupo ninyo could also document or come up with documentaries covering this project, no? Ang
That's,
ganda
that's, a,
siguro, Jay.
that's a
Ganda
very good
siguro.
suggestion, attorney, kasi
Oo.
what we're, in the end, ang gusto naman natin dito, we want to gather all the best practices,
Yes.
diba? Of the LGUs, not just the LGUs, but also the individual and independent
Yes. Yeah.
organizations, diba?
Oo.
Ano yung pwedeng gawin, and para magka-idea rin yung maraming tao,
Yeah.
because we're in the business of mass media, para
Correct.
makakuha rin sila ng ideas, diba? That's a good suggestion.
Yeah. Oo. Sana maano yan, no? Dahil every year, very competitive, Jay, ang selection process, no? At first, yung all the LGUs, siguro numbering mga at least 60, papadala sila ng mga projects nila, no? May mga criteria na yan na well set out. And then from 60, naging 20, and then yung 20 are asked to come up with presentation na talaga, no? And then they appear, they go to Manila and present their projects before a panel of, say, mga more or less 20 judges, no? And ano yan, no? 10 minutes per project owner, proponent, and then doon sa 10 minutes na yan, presentation, another 10 minutes for question and answer, no?
Q&A naman.
Yeah, yung mga judges naman, no? Pinaghihirapan yan ng mga LGUs. Talagang grabe ang preparation. Doon ako nanalo, and then after the awards, nandyan sa library ng Galing Pook, no? Sana maano yan, no? Magkaroon ng linkage na magawa ng documentary yung mga, hindi naman siguro lahat ng projects, no? Yung whatever to your ano ninyo.
That's a good suggestion. That's a good source of stories also. And ang challenge nga ngayon kasi parang lahat napanood mo na, nakita mo na eh, di ba? The challenge is, spotting the most unique, and kung hindi mo pa nakita, napanood, parang magandang gawin, di ba? But at this point, halos lahat nakita mo na. And maganda ito dahil makakatulong ito sa LGU to push them more to work harder and inspire yung ibang LGU na matuto rin.
Indeed. And isa nga sa mga criteria is replicability, no? Isa rin is sustainability, no? And then another is replicability. So doon sa replicability, sayang, Jay, maganda yung programa pero it ends there. After that, wala na. Dahil paano ma-replicate kung hindi na-propagate, no? Hindi na-disseminate.
Sana na-document, oo. Sana na-document.
Yeah. Actually, documented pero nasa library lang. Kaya, whereas kung merong documentary, maganda. May presentation, iba na ang dating yan, hindi na yan parang na yan, no? Makaka-attract na ng yung mga siyempre may inganyo yung ibang LGU, sana kaya natin yan.
Correct, sir.
Maganda yan. Makes the program better felt, no? And ang impact is
baka mas magandang impact sa maraming tao, di ba? Yung impact minsan na-appreciate pagka napapropagate ng maayos.
Dahil yan ang mo sa mga documentaries mo, yan ang result eh. Kaya ayun, bigyan ng award because of the impact, no? The change in society brought about by the focus that you're giving.
Correct.
Ganda.
Yes, sir. Yes.
And then na maganda din siguro, sir, kasi ngayon sa social media and everywhere in the internet, marami ng content ngayon, sir, kung ano-ano na lang yung content. I think it's still good to have yung mga content na kagaya ng nilalabas po ninyo, yung mga may meaning naman po na mga content. Kasi ang dami-dami, we have billions of information in the internet, hindi na natin alam kung ano ba yung dapat.
Ayun natin nakapanood ng mga nagsasayaw at
Hindi, kasi kailangan pa rin yung mga ganong klaseng storya, sir, at ganong klaseng materials.
Galing, galing. And anong tingin mo, Jay, itong documentary type of journalism, will it get bigger or paano? What do you foresee?
Okay, let's take for example itong I-Witness, no, ng GMA. It's probably the longest running documentary program on television. Television being, ang trato nila sa television is the traditional media, di ba? But it's still there. And it has supporters, advertisers. It reaches a lot of people. And what's good about I-Witness, malaki ang backing and support of the academe. Iniikot po yan sa different universities and schools. Yung mga documentary, ipinapapanood sa mga estudyante. So nagugulat nga ako, may mga old documentaries ako and they would email me about this particular documentary. Sabi ko, saan mo napanood? Either sa YouTube o sa classroom. Yeah. Ang teacher will let them watch our documentaries and then ask them to write a reaction paper about that particular story. So I think there's still a market kasi hindi naman tayo naubusan ng estudyante. They can actually study, dissect, and probably mull over kung ano yung diniscuss, ano yung naging topic dun sa documentary na yun. I think itong style ng videos, no? Kasi yung genre ng documentary might not be as popular as, let's say, a Hollywood movie or probably a comedy film or yung ibang types ng media na mapapanood mo, no? Entertainment. Pero marami pa rin may hunger for information, no? Relevant information that can create an impact. May impact sa ating society. Marami pa rin po naghahanap noon eh. And like for example, sa pagbabasa, sinasabi nila patay na ang literature, patay na ang libro, printed. Di ba? Pero marami pong mahilig magbasa, marami nagbabasa po and ayun pa rin ang kanilang source of knowledge. So there are traditional media or genres ng videos na tingin natin might not be popular in our eyes, pero I think there's an existing and there's, the market is there, the audience is there, as long as tuloy-tuloy lang yung dapat quality, yung quality na put out mo, I'm sure it will last. It will last.
Yeah. Kung maganda ang quality, most likely instructive siya. And not only instructive, provocative pa. Provocative. Mag-isip ang tao.
Exactly. It encourages you to be, to become a critical thinker and then kung kailangan may mabuo ka na opinion about a certain issue, halimbawa a certain meron kang paghuhugutan, 'di ba? Meron kang pagkukunan.
Ang dami Jay, sa day-to-day natin, no? Kahit na i-set aside mo yung politika, ang daming mga issues that are very instructive and provocative, lalo na sa yung makes you yung mo nga, no? opens up doors for people to ask questions and
Yes.
bakit
Yes.
ganyan, dapat ganito, ganyan, no? Yeah, ang ganda. Ganda, Sel. So,
Yeah.
kuan talaga, no? Sana tuloy-tuloy mo yan, Jay. Tuloy-tuloy mo yan. We want you to know na marami kang mga followers dito. Hindi,
Ayun.
ako, daddy mo pa, follower na ako noon pa.
Oo,
Kaya
oo.
ngayon, kahit yung mga motorcycle diaries mo, nanonood din ako niyan. And,
Thank you, sir. Thank you, attorney.
galing. Ganda ng mga ano mo, no? Mga advocacies mo. And of course, maganda rin ang mga messages that you give out in your programs. Ganda.
Thank you so much, attorney.
Jay,
Marisol.
nag-signal na si Shine na overtime na tayo.
Oo, oo. Ay, yun yata yung title ng show, Overtime.
Laging ganyan ang sabihin niya.
Pero again, kami po ay nagpapasalamat, Jay, no? Na pinag-uunlakan mo kami and we wish you all the best. Now, Jay, parang parting statement mo dahil marami sa atin din dito, message mo sa yung mga followers sa mga documentaries mo and your motorcycle diaries mo.
Yes, yes.
Your parting message, please.
First of all, Attorney Oka, thank you so much, for giving me this opportunity, and I had so much fun, Ma'am Maricel, also talking to you guys and reflecting and parang parang throwback tayo sa mga yung sinasabi mga nagawa kong story. And thank you Overtime, and salamat sa lahat ng tao behind your show. Ang gusto ko lang sabihin siguro, yung gawin natin sigurong practice sa sarili natin, yung ayokong gamitin na yung salitang maging critical thinker tayo, pero maging maingat at maging mapagmatyag, let's be vigilant because we are bombarded, left and right, up and down with so much information on social media, iba't ibang information. Dati kasi may campaign ng mag-ingat ka sa mga pinapanood mo sa television. Now, this is like, I can say, mas wider audience mo with the internet and that. Kahit yung nasa ibang bansa napapanood ka. So, let's all be vigilant lagi pertaining to what we watch and also mag-isip, kahit hindi natin tanggapin na hook, line, and sinker lahat ng napapanood natin, nababalitaan natin, but let's pause and, give it time, tingnan natin, huwag tayo palaging naniniwala agad-agad, and let's all enjoy this freedom. I think we should celebrate na meron tayong mga ganitong klase ng freedom sa society natin ngayon. I'm so happy na nandito pa tayo ngayon after 30 years, and maraming salamat sa lahat ng sumuporta, nakanood ng mga ginawa kong dokumentaryo, stories on television, and until now we're still doing it. Kung pwede kong sabihin, invite yung viewers nyo. Ride PH is my show. I produce Ride PH. It's very similar to Motorcycle Diaries, but it's more motorcycle now. And ako po yung producer. We're also part of a news organization, yung 1PH, under Signal TV. And ito, kung nabalitaan nyo na, yung RPTVs, the new Channel 9, RPTV is also airing our shows there. So you will be able to watch me on RPTV also. Nagsimula na ng weekend, but every week ko kasi. So you'd be able to. Ewan ko kung may RPN 9 sa Cagayan de Oro.
Meron, sir.
So probably magte-trickle down sa inyo yung mga shows namin on free-to-air television. Ayun, let's continue to support each other. maayong buntag. All the support and sana po lumakas pa yung overtime.
Yes, sir. Attorney?
Thank you. Yeah. Salamat, Jay. At the end of every episode, si Maricel would ask me to give my thoughts on the episode, no? And alam mo, isang word ang naano ko, no? Instantly listening to you and especially doon sa parting message mo. Isang word na dumating kaagad sa isip ko, responsible. Responsible, no? And yan, I would say tatak, taruk.
Tatak Taruc, I like that.
Yeah, sa daddy mo pa. Daddy mo pa, no? He would interview, wow, ilang senador every day, ilang secretaries every day, ilang celebrities every day, and he remained very responsible.
Until the end.
Responsible to the people, to his audience, no?
Yes.
And of course, I'm very happy to note, Jay, na tinuloy mo yan. And ang gandang ano, no? Yung the tradition of Taruc, the Tatak Taruc.
Thank you so much for that.
Maraming salamat, Jay. Good luck. Good luck sa iyo. Good luck sa iyo.
Good luck din po sa inyo.
Salamat.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, Attorney Oka. And of course, Jay Taruc, thank you for joining us this afternoon. Dagan salamat. Ug maayong hapon kaninyong tanan.
Salamat.